Tonight, teenage tennis sensation Victoria Mboko completes her fairy tale title run in Montreal. How she set Canadian history on home court.
You guys were incredible, and I couldn't be more grateful.
And how she stacks up against the field going forward. A Canadian cafe rattled again by a barrage of bullets.
There are people who know who is behind this.
What police revealed about the second shooting in a month. And the Israeli Prime Minister's plan for military control of Gaza.
We intend to, in order to assure our security.
The widespread reaction and warnings against a full takeover.
CTV National News with Omar Sachedina. Reporting tonight, Marcia McMillan.
Good evening. We begin with breaking news from Montreal, where Canada's new queen of tennis has earned her crown. 18-year-old Victoria Mboko has won the National Bank Open Women's Final.
The maiden of Montreal. At just 18 years of age, Victoria Mboko completes a magnificent run to her first tour title.
What a moment. Mboko pulled off another stunning comeback victory, this time over four-time Grand Slam winner Naomi Osaka from Japan in 3 sets. She becomes the first Canadian to win the title since Bianca Andreescu in 2019. Mboko moves up to 25th in the world rankings and now has a guaranteed spot in the U.S. Open. The newly crowned winner quick to thank everyone who helped get her to this moment.
I want to thank every single one of you who came to support me throughout this whole week. You guys were incredible, and I couldn't be more grateful. Montréal, je vous aime.
TSN's Mark Masters is in Montreal tonight. Mark, what a Cinderella run.
The fairy tale story is complete. Vicky Mboko started this season ranked 333. She started this tournament ranked 85. She needed a wild card to get in. She leaves top 25. She's now going to be seeded at the U.S. Open when she plays her first main draw in New York later this month, and she did it the hard way here in Montreal, beating 4 Grand Slam champions en route to the title. She is the second youngest player in the Open era to do that at one tournament, older only than Serena Williams, and it wasn't easy in the championship match. She lost the first set. She was struggling to hold serve. She made 13 double faults. She had her wrist bandaged after that fall in Wednesday's semifinal, but she hung in there, showing that mental toughness that's been on display all tournament. And when Naomi Osaka, her opponent, had her level dip, Mboko was there to take advantage, and now the 18-year-old is the champion in Montreal. The first time these Montreal fans have been able to celebrate a singles champion. Marcia, a star is born.
Indeed, Mark, thank you. Mboko was born in Charlotte, North Carolina to Congolese parents and grew up in Toronto, but she now calls Burlington, Ontario home. Hometown pride was in full swing earlier today in anticipation of the big match.
A professional tennis player here in our town is great, so we feel really happy and proud.
It definitely inspires me to try harder and never give up like her.
One of the greatest moments for tennis in Canada, rivaling 2019 when Bianca won our tournament in Toronto. I've been saying it for a long time now. She's a future #1.
Turning now to U.S. President Donald Trump's global trade war. It's now in full effect. Countries worldwide facing between 10 and 50% tariffs on imports into the U.S. It comes as Canada is still seeking certainty on trade negotiations. CTV's Mike LeCouture has more on where Canada stands and how the tariffs could hurt Americans.
Yes, we're having discussions with the Americans.
Prime Minister Carney wouldn't say when he'll next speak to U.S. President Donald Trump, but Ontario's premier didn't mince words when asked about how Canadians see the American leader.
He's probably the most disliked politician in the world in Canada.
In an interview on CNN, Doug Ford tried to explain to Americans that these tariffs are hurting them.
When you see 37,000 Americans have lost their jobs, that can't pay the rent or can't pay a mortgage, put food on their table, and this is just going to grow even more.
A new report from Yale University shows the current tariffs will hit American consumers.
We're expecting an adjustment of about over $2,000 to, their real household income and sort of purchasing power.
The impact could be felt in back-to-school shopping, as the tariffs will make shoes 40% more expensive, and the price of other clothes will rise by 38% because of import duties. Meantime, the impact on Canada's economy is being measured by the Royal Bank. In June, 92% of Canadian exports crossed into the U.S. duty-free because they are covered under the current trade agreement, leaving 8% subject to punishing tariffs.
That portion of trade is unfortunately facing an average tariff rate of 30%.
Still, the overall impact on the Canadian economy is relatively small at this point, but sectors like steel and aluminum continue to suffer. While campaigning ahead of his by-election in Alberta, Pierre Polyv criticized Carney's handling of the trade talks.
He's been bending over backwards for the president and so far has gotten nothing in return.
Canada is also pushing back against Trump's threat of a 100% tariff on semiconductor imports based on national security grounds. Now, in 2022, Canada exported $1.4 billion worth to the U.S., and a spokesperson for Global Affairs Canada said Canadian semiconductors are not a threat to national security. Marcia?
Mike, thank you. Today was the last of 3 meetings on the government's major project bill. Some Métis leaders refused to have a face-to-face with the Prime Minister, but those who did left with some cautious optimism. CTV's Abigail Beeman has more.
We're listening now.
The final major project summit between the feds and Indigenous groups, this one with Métis leaders who emerged with positive reviews.
It was a great day. It was really good.
There's a model that's starting to come together. There's no one-size-fits-all. Obviously, there's a variety of different projects, a variety of different approaches and participations, but there's a very strong momentum.
Summer summits billed as discussing the big picture approach rather than the start of consultations, held as a response to friction over the rushed passage of C5, the Building Canada bill, not as much from Métis as other Indigenous groups, but Métis organizations still have questions.
As long as, the Canada is going to consult with us and make sure that our Indigenous rights are protected, we're ready to go.
This was a great start, and we need to have more dialogue like this, more Métis governments coming together.
We can't go there if Ontario is in that room.
But the Manitoba Métis Federation refused to attend, saying Wednesday Carney invited what it considers to be illegitimate organizations.
If you want to come and sit down with my cabinet and a government-to-government relationship, we will meet. But if you want to insult us, then we'll see each other in a different political realm.
We've had good engagement directly with the Manitoba Métis, and that will continue.
The Métis Nation of Ontario says Manitoba is putting forward a new and false narrative. Meanwhile, the Métis Nation of British Columbia also refused attendance because it was only invited as an online observer.
This was the last of 3 summer summits the Prime Minister held with Indigenous groups, First Nations, Inuit, and now Métis. Carney says the goal is to have both the Major Projects Office and the Indigenous Advisory Council up and running by Labor Day. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Conservative Party leader Pierre Poilievre talking today about the need to build new oil pipelines across Canada, and he took aim at BC Premier David Eby in the process.
One man can't block a project. British Columbians want a pipeline, Albertans want a pipeline, Canadians want a pipeline. We can't wait till everybody's on side.
Eby has said that there's no point in discussing the pipeline being pushed by Alberta until there's an actual proponent for the project. Poilievre made the comments while speaking about the Canadian Sovereignty Act that Conservatives plan to introduce in the fall that, according to Poilievre, would ramp up infrastructure building projects. In Alberta, the wording of the question that asks voters if the province should separate from Canada was under scrutiny in court today. The proposed question asks, do you agree that the province of Alberta shall become a sovereign country and cease to be a province in Canada? A judge will soon decide whether it violates the Constitution. Late tonight, Israel's security cabinet has approved a plan from Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for the military to take control of Gaza City. CTV's Rachel Aiello has a reaction to the initial reports.
The prospect of Israel taking complete military control of the Gaza Strip, sparking protests outside of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office and across Israel tonight. Those demonstrating echoing United Nations concerns that doing so could be catastrophic for the hostages Hamas is still holding captive in Gaza. The reaction, the result of Netanyahu declaring his intent to expand operations temporarily.
In order to assure our security, remove Hamas there, enable the population to be free of Gaza, and to pass it to civilian governance. That is not Hamas and not anyone advocating the destruction of Israel.
Pro-Palestinian protesters outside the Israeli embassy in Ottawa today outraged over what Netanyahu's move may mean for civilians in Gaza.
Gaza belongs to their people. Nobody can take Gaza, just their people. No another army, no another country.
We cannot sit back.
It's unsupportable.
And Netanyahu wants to occupy the crime scene.
Israel has come under intensifying international pressure, including from Canada, to reach a ceasefire. Talks between Israel and Hamas broke down last month. Today, the recognized terrorist group said Netanyahu's latest plans represent a blatant reversal of the negotiation process. The Israeli Prime Minister said it's about liberating the people of Gaza. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
A BC restaurant owned by a popular Bollywood star has become the target of gunfire for the second time in a month. As shocking as that may be, it's not the only South Asian business that's been facing threats and violence. CTV's BC Bureau Chief Andrew Johnson digs into who some say may be behind it all.
Someone standing outside a vehicle can be heard taking at least 20 shots. In this video, police confirm is now evidence in their investigation. The target, Cap's Cafe, owned by Bollywood star Kapil Sharma. The same place shot up July 10th. There were staff inside during both early morning shootings, but no one was hurt. Police also found what looked like a Molotov cocktail-type device outside on the ground. Neighbors feel powerless.
It concerns us that it's close to home, but I don't know what else we can do, just keep our eyes open.
Close to 20 South Asian businesses in Surrey have been targeted this year alone by extortion attempts, sometimes involving shootings. Police haven't ruled that out here.
There are people who know who is behind this. We need those people to come forward before someone gets injured or killed.
The mayor hopes more people who have been victimized come forward.
They're very, very frightened because the threats come to them and to their families, to their children. I have talked to people that have sent their families away out of province and even out of the country.
India-based media claim a member of the Lawrence Bishnoi gang has taken responsibility for this latest violence, a group BC's premier wants declared a terrorist organization over alleged ties to extortion and other crimes.
This clearly shows that individuals involved in these activities do not fear police. They do not fear being caught.
Police haven't made any arrests in either shooting at Kapil Sharma's restaurant, in a community wondering what or who may be targeted next. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
Winnipeg police announced charges against two of their own officers, including a 22-year veteran of the force. Constable Elston Bostock was charged with drug trafficking and taking pictures of a deceased woman while on duty.
He obtained an intimate photo of a deceased female who was only partially clothed. Constable Bostock then distributed this photo electronically to another party.
Bostock was arrested Wednesday along with a second officer who is accused of breaking and entering to commit extortion and breach of trust while he was partnered with Bostock in 2023. Environment Canada is still working to confirm whether a tornado touched down near Winnipeg on Wednesday. Here's CTV's Alex Carpa.
A violent weather system unleashed strong winds, including funnel clouds near Winnipeg and the surrounding area Wednesday night. Hail the size of golf balls poured down in parts of the province. Heavy rains even flooded some streets. Tornado warnings were issued in several communities throughout the region.
It was very,
very cool. Kind of happened out of nowhere.
Brian Penner was caught in the storm on his way home from work. Even though officials haven't confirmed any tornadoes, he believes he saw one.
When it crossed the road in front of me, so in between Dugald and Enola, probably about a mile ahead of me, there was debris spinning as it crossed the road. Even though you never saw the funnel touch the ground, but obviously there was some circulation or something on the ground from it.
Meteorologist Crawford Luke says the severity of this storm was triggered by hot weather and a very humid air mass.
We also had a bit of wind shear in the area the other day, or yesterday, so we had strong winds aloft with the jet stream.
There's been a lot of heightened activity over the last few days for Manitoba storm chasers. Corey Penner caught video of this tornado swirling southwest of Brandon on Tuesday.
First we saw a wispy little tornado, then I saw another wispy tornado come down, very brief, and then we stopped, set up the real camera, and then that's where we got that nice thick tornado.
It's been a fairly quiet year with just under 40 confirmed tornadoes compared to last year, which saw 129, the second highest number of tornadoes on record in Canada. Alex Carpa, CTV News, Dugald, Manitoba.
The Manitoba government is extending its state of emergency due to ongoing wildfires. There are more than 150 active fires across the province right now.
Canadian Armed Forces will now be deploying a reconnaissance element to assist and assess the wildfire situation.
And the Army is joining firefighters in Newfoundland and Labrador. 2 more communities have been evacuated, with a third on standby. The Premier also says anyone violating the provincial fire ban will now face fines of $50,000. Nova Scotia is taking extra measures to prevent wildfires by prohibiting the use of fireworks. Violators could face a $25,000 fine. It comes 2 days after banning people from entering the woods. Coming up, the summer job struggle.
I want an opportunity. I need a job to not just help me so I can buy things for myself, but to help my mom pay rent.
How many jobs young people say are needed to meet the demand? A new report has found young people in Toronto are struggling to find meaningful jobs. It comes amid a summer of high youth unemployment. And as CTV's Beth McDonnell explains, there's a new push for the city to step up.
Maria Martinez is having a much better work experience this summer compared to last summer, when she ended up in a position at a fast food restaurant.
It's a revolving door of like, okay, if I don't like you, I can fire you and then we can get someone else.
This year, she's taking part in a Black student leadership program and is employed 35 hours a week at the neighborhood group, where she supports youth and takes part in workshops and excursions.
It's so meaningful being able to be placed with BSSLP this summer, as I feel it definitely enriches my ability to connect with various mentors, as well as be able to have an understanding of my potential career paths.
Martinez is among a large group of youth, officials, and Toronto organizations pushing all levels of government to create 10,000 meaningful jobs with the city by next summer. The goal to tackle the crisis of youth summer unemployment and youth unemployment, which youth advocate Stephen Mensah says is connected to youth crime and violence.
Young people made it loud and clear, just this catch-22 of, hey, I need experience to get a job, but I can't get a job without experience, and so I'm left stuck. And we know this reality is even more dire for young people who are Black, Indigenous, equity-deserving, young people living in Toronto community housing.
The call for jobs comes with the release of the Toronto Youth Employment Postcard Report, essentially a survey which asked young people what they need to better succeed.
Hey, I want an opportunity. I need a job to not just help me so I can buy things for myself, but to help my mom pay rent, but to help with caregiving responsibilities and other necessities like transportation and housing. So young people were very vulnerable and real as to the importance of a job for them.
Scarborough Councillor Parthy Candavel says the city has only approved exploring up to 10,000 jobs for 2026.
As we head into the fall budget cycle, we're hopeful, but we need a commitment from City Council that and from the leadership of the mayor, that we will be incorporating it into the budget.
He says a program could include city jobs and subsidies to the private sector, so companies are incentivized to bring on summer youth. Beth McDonnell, CTV News.
Still ahead, changing roles. Why an ex-Superman actor wants to join Trump's immigration crackdown. He became famous on television as a popular superhero standing up for truth, justice, and the American way. Now, former Superman actor Dean Cain will be rounding up migrants to be deported.
I felt it was important to join with our first responders to help secure the safety of all Americans, not just talk about it. So I joined up.
Cain has encouraged members of the public to join following a recruitment drive by the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency known as ICE. Cain played the Man of Steel in the mid-90s on the TV series Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman. A rough day for a black bear in Vancouver after it was chased out of a home by Scout, a pint-sized Pomeranian. His owner says the cub came for Scout's breakfast, which he had to defend with his life. Whale watchers didn't need to leave the dock to get a great view of a group of orcas putting on a show for hundreds of visitors in Victoria Harbour. Experts say this was a family also known as the Runaways and was with its youngest calf at the time. Still ahead, honoring a hometown legend. How the city of Hamilton showed their love for an NBA MVP. It's Shea Day in Hamilton, Ontario. The city is honoring NBA champion SGA as their hometown hero.
It is Shea
Gilgin
Alexander!
SGA! SGA! So you guys can only imagine how overwhelmed with joy I was when I found out I was getting a key to the city I love.
Wearing a custom #2 Tiger Cats jersey, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander was celebrated after his incredible season. The Oklahoma City superstar won the NBA title, the Finals MVP, the regular season MVP, and the league scoring title. The event was held at Hamilton Stadium to allow fans to show their appreciation and pride, and where SGA was presented a key to the city. He was later honored at the Ticats game.
You can do anything you want to do, and especially when you're from Hamilton, you get a little extra chip on your shoulder. When you're from Hamilton, you get superpowers.
Thank you for this. Congratulations.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Hamilton. I love you guys.
And that is our show for this Thursday. Thanks so much for watching. We leave you tonight with more from Victoria Mboko's major victory in Montreal.
Mesdames et messieurs, votre championne 2025 de l'Omnium Banque Nationale, présentée par Rogers, your 2025 champion, Victoria